You're watching Awani Selecta with me, Ibrahim Sani. It's the end of the week, and here is a show where we recap some of the bigger things that have happened on this channel for your viewing. We know that your time is precious and you might not be able to watch each and every single one of all our shows, so we aggregate it for you for the next 10 or 15 minutes. You're going to be able to get some of the big picture of the shows that we have right now. We start off with my own show, Notepad with Ibrahim Sani, where I speak with Pangolin Fund investor James Hay about investing in palm oil. He argues that Malaysia should take a more aggressive role in conservation activity, particularly when we talk about the agriculture business of palm oil. Take a look into my discussion with James Hay. Now, I want to draw back to the story of this show, which is palm oil, and the question of whether or not it is in crisis. Wisma Putra just said that, over 2 million Malaysians at large is going to be affected by this policy.
An awful lot of people grow cocaine or coca in South America, right? But everyone tries to eradicate that crop. So that is an argument, but it's not necessarily the argument. We are named after an endangered animal, the pangolin or tenggiling in Malay. We have never invested in palm oil or timber because of the loss of habitat. These industries go hand in hand with destruction of forest. That report from Sarawak report last week, I forwarded it to all my investors, who are nearly all overseas, and I've had a fantastic response. I'm not sure I've ever had so many replies, all of which have been favourable. On this subject. This is an issue which people really care about, and it's not just an anti-Malaysia thing. They care equally about soya oil, about Brazilian rainforest deforestation. There is also a roundtable for sustainable soya oil, which never gets any press here because we only ever hear about palm oil. So it's not just picking on Malaysia and Indonesia, it's worldwide environmental awareness.
Okay, I just want to pull up the visual, if my people can pull out the visual from Intro Palm Oil. That visual of Intro Palm Oil talks about the story of Claire Rucastle-Brown, and how she highlighted the story of a land grab between Abu Bakr and the son of Taib Mahmud. That particular story basically showcases or highlights the problem with palm oil plantation. But when we talk about large companies, we are also talking about people who are working in these industries that might not be as nimble as you think they might be. Do you think it's unfair for them who are actually serving within this particular sector?
The large companies are always under attack. When you look at Unilever, they're under attack. Nestle are under attack the whole time for selling powdered milk in Africa, encouraging mothers to use powder, to use formula instead of breastfeeding. I mean, large companies are fair game. Everybody's fair game if they transgress. If you transgress, you're fair game.
Also on my show, Notepad, I speak with Kristin. He's a lawyer that dabbles in the property industry, and he discusses with us whether or not 2019 is the year to buy property.
I put it very simple. Already many policies already in place being announced and is put into effect. Especially you can consider, first of all, that is this aim to really make sure that everyone can deliver this 100,000 supply. Remember we said about 1 million in 10 years? I keep saying that simply because it's actually quite a tall order. Think about it, I'm not sure how many people actually clear how much ready stock we come to the market every year. So every year is about 160,000, 150,000, below 200,000 kind of thing. So if you're asking for 100,000 affordable homes, then you're effectively looking at half or more than half of the supply. So I'm saying to you is that, and of course, there are also a carry forward supply that we want to do. So this home ownership campaign, to me, is very simple. I'm urging all the aspiring first-time homeowner, let's put it this way, even you can't afford it, even you don't think you can make it, go and try the shopping. Assess yourself first, whether you qualify for any loan, how much do you need, exactly what it is, because under the current package, there's many benefits. Like I said, stamp duty, right, could be one, right? And also there's motivation for even the seller to sell, because there's also a delay slightly for the RPGT to take effect slightly later with the higher rate. So again, these are all good factors, good circumstances that allow transaction.
Let's talk about areas, right? Do you think that, the type of homes, the places where it's at, Kuala Lumpur, Penang, Johor Bahru, big towns, Kota Kinabalu, or is there an argument for buying slightly outside areas other than the big towns? What's the story there?
I think at the end of the day is about affordability and also the travelling time and also where you work. All right, we tend to want to say the proximity to where you work and also the readiness of public transportation. So I think at the end of the day, nobody will give you a perfect product, right? Because even today, they're talking about dual income. Husband work, wife also work at the same time. So you could be closer to the husband, but then very far for the wife. So I'm just highlighting
Unless
there's
that's
no...
the objective, you want to get far from the wife.
Oh yeah, of course. But the perfect situation will not be there. But let's put it this way. Ideally, I want to tell a lot of people this very, very useful advice. When you shop for your first home, it's about first home. Okay, it's not your dream home. When people get the concept wrong, right? You will not get the perfect product, right? You start with something, and then you improve on it. All right. So that's why we're saying there's such thing called upgrading. First home requirement is different from a permanent home. That's why we call it first home. Otherwise, we would say the home, right? So I'm just saying that this is the concept we want to tell everyone to really start to think about it, because a lot of people, when they start to buy, they say, oh, I want 3-room. You know, in fact, he's not married. He said, I want 3-room because I'm planning to marry. I'm going to have 2 children and blah, blah. You're not going to get that in the first go. Get one for yourself first, right? Then later, let it appreciate, accumulate it. Then you get for your next level, when you get married, get a place big enough for 2. Then you get upgrade again, because really these days, we can't really have the perfect answer straight away.
Be sure to catch all those shows on Notepad with me, Ibrahim Sani. Just head on to astroawani.com/notepad. Also on Awani this week, we speak with the very prominent pemuda UMNO, Cheryl Hamdan, on the issues of elections. Again, this is particularly tying in well with this mini by-election which we all know have concluded. Cheryl Hamdan discusses with Cheryl Kutan on a various plethora of issues, particularly when it comes to the young minds of Malaysians and how that will translate to voting.
I want to ask Cheryl, if Semenyih is truly significant as a by-election, it seems like the media claims every by-election is significant. Do you think it's significant?
I think it's especially significant for a number of reasons. One, because of the composition of the voters. I think it's fairly reflective of the Malaysian populace, the Malaysian electorate overall. So I think for that reason, it's perhaps more significant than some of the by-elections that we've had with the past couple of months. But more importantly, this is one where we are about to see and test the hypothesis that an UMNO and PAS cooperation will get us 80% there, and we'll still need, because we will be short of about 2,000 votes if you were to count both the UMNO and PAS, BN and PAS votes last time around in G14. So we'll still need an extra 2,000 or so.
So you need a swing of
Correct.
some sort.
So you need a swing of some sort. So if BN were to win, that means it is more than just the help from PAS. It's also an actual swing back to the new opposition.
But Cheryl, do you feel a palpable sense of fear on the side of Pakatan that they might lose this? I mean, something that Arul says, he thinks is going on since Cameron Highlands, and because, as you put it, if UMNO and PAS is a winning combination, that's something to look out for in the future, isn't it?
So to answer your question, yes. I say this with humility, but I've observed not just in Semenyih but in the latter part of Cameron, there was a palpable sense of concern on the part of Pakatan, and it's not difficult to see why when you see their ceramah. And let's be honest about this, prior to the general election, their ceramahs usually drew far larger crowds than ours did. The situations turned 180 degrees. So things like that, and also how their candidate and their machinery more are received on the ground when they go to house visits, when they go to markets and all the rest of it, we can sense that we are on the up in terms of perception, in terms of reception among the public. So I feel that they understand that there are fumbles and the poor performance that they've actually portrayed since the past 10 months of being in power.
You can catch that show on Let's Talk with Cheryl Kutan. This week, upcoming in our Health Matters show with Titian Kumar, we discuss the NCD notion of the non-communicable disease plaguing our nation, that is of diabetes. Take a sneak peek into that conversation.
Well, what I deal with primarily is type 2 diabetes and obesity. But most specifically, I center my care of trying to get diabetic patients off their medications. So what I mean by that is try to reverse type 2 diabetes. And I try to get them off their medication, and as well as much as possible, lower down for the cases that I can't able to reverse them. Okay, so what I do is I deal with these patients very holistically, and it is also very individualized. What I mean by that is medical nutritional therapy, okay, MNT, which I get the patient to follow a certain regime, and we change their diet, we change their lifestyle, and week on week we monitor them, we try to see how much of medications we can remove. It's very data driven. I see their blood sugar points, and I also do a blood test before and after the program. So within the 5 months, we see how far we can push it. And that's how I do things.
That's it from me for this week. Remember, if you can't keep tabs on us, on watching us on TV, we are also on podcast as well as on the Apple App Store or the Google Android app as well. So download our app there. That's it from me for this week. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time.